on. That's right.
See, I won't let Kevin do that. He always says, "You're going to let me lick the shell on this one?" No.
Yeah, but you've never seen her chew down on a chicken bone either, you know.
The Travel Planners Radio Show, Saturday mornings at 8 on WCGO.
Welcome, everyone, to Inside the Skev, and I'm your host, Aaron Masliansky. And today I am bringing back to the show Jeff Shankerman. And Jeff is a financial planner from One-to-One Financial. And Jeff's been on the show when it was just the podcast, and we've done some other, interviews over YouTube and talked a lot about things going on in the market. So, Jeff, thank you so much for coming back to the show. And we have had quite an experience in terms of what's gone on in the market this week, and want to talk with you about that. But if you could just give everybody a little bit of background on how long you've been in the business, and some of your qualifications to talk about this.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I hate to think about how long I've been in the business. It's going on 27 years. I started in the trading end of things. I lived in Cincinnati at that time, and I was one of a few people who opened up what was the first, one of the first online trading firms for individuals outside of a major market city. So I've worked in trading, and then started managing money about 15 years ago or so. And I've been a financial planner I've been managing money for that long. There are different levels to how you do that. We may touch on that during the show, but I've been doing what I do now as I do it now for about the last 11 years. So I am a registered representative. I am a registered principal, so I can run an office. I've got all the good stuff to be able to do what I need to do, and that will be part of the conversation today.
Yeah, I definitely think it will. And, this time of the year, after an election, you think, okay, there's a lot of things to talk about. You have a new administration, you have new, regulations that might be in place, and how does that affect people's investments and whatnot. But we had just a crazy, crazy week. And I have these front pages of the Wall Street Journal where you talk about, and if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, you could just see, brokers cool off high flying stocks because there was crazy trading with GameStop.
It was insane.
Insane. And then you have another article, from yesterday's Wall Street Journal, wild stock ride tests Robinhood. And then you've got this article about the man who drove GameStop mania, Keith Gill. So what in fact happened, and how for a layman, do you understand what happened?
Okay. All right. So when you and I talked about doing this, I said, there's a lot to unpack here, and that's before I did the deep dive, and there's even more to unpack. So I'm going to keep it as public friendly as I possibly can. So, and to answer your first question, because it all rolls in together, there's a lot of chatter out there about what the Biden administration will do with taxes and how that'll affect the market, and there's this perception that it will negatively affect the market. In the history, if you look at market history, the times when we've had the highest tax rate, the marginal tax rate was 53% during the Reagan administration. Yes, Reagan. And that time period was the hottest period for the market. In fact, history shows that the times when tax rates are highest are typically the hottest times in the market. So there's no correlation to if Biden raises taxes, then your 401k is going to suffer, which means that it's just more fear mongering, which, as we know from recent events outside the market, that fear has become currency in this country. And this week, this is what came to bear. What happened this week? So what happened was we had a stock. Hang on, I got to look at my notes. I'm sorry, but I'm juggling. I've been on the radio. I've not done the thing where I'm actually on camera, and I feel like I have the perfect face for radio, as they say. I'm juggling here. So here's what happened. There's a concept called short selling. this was a perfect storm. There were several different players involved in this, and it all came together. There's this concept called short selling that the public in general doesn't know much about, because what it is instead of the traditional buy and hold, you buy something and it goes up and then you sell it, you're buying and you're hoping that it goes down. You're effectively, what you're doing is you're borrowing some stock from somebody who actually thinks it's going to go up, and you're using that. You're saying, okay, here's what I want to do. I'm going to borrow this stock, and then I will buy it to cover what I'm borrowing later. So if the stock is trading at $100 and it goes down to 80, and you then buy it to cover, then you get the $20 a share that was the difference, because it did go down on the short sell. But if it goes up and you can't handle the heat, where your brokerage firm says, you got to get out of this, you've got too much at risk, then you could actually have to cover that at 150, 200, or whatever. Now that is what happened this week, was that there was a concerted effort on behalf of individual investors to really, their objective was not only just a profit, but to topple some hedge funds. Now, hedge funds are funds that hold, their objective is to drive the market and to obviously make profit, but they hold large baskets of stock, and generally speaking, their customers are accredited investors, so people who have a lot of money, people who have a lot of market knowledge, or institutions. And so it's not Joe and Betty lunch basket in the public. And so this was a situation where, using several tools, one guy who was Keith Gill, who was in that article, has pumped up the public into thinking that, into actually correctly thinking that they can affect these hedge funds by going in and bidding up this stock. In this case, it was GameStop. Let me just stop for a second. If you're listening to this, you have to understand that nothing I'm saying is a recommendation. I am talking about what happened in the market last week. I'm not endorsing it, and I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, because each person is different. But I don't want you to walk away from this and say, this is what he said was the way to make money in this, or this is what he said was a good idea. We'll talk about it as much as we can in an hour, right. But that's an important thing, is that this was a fascinating set piece about short selling and social media and free trading and all these things that came in together. So here is what happened. There is a well-traveled site called Reddit. Reddit has chat rooms, and one of the chat rooms is called Wall Street Bets. And it was established in 2012, and it's got a lot of offshoots, and some of them are ridiculous, and some of them are just individuals who want to find out if there's some hot issue they should be investing in on the short term or whatever. Well, This guy, Keith Gill, who was covered in the Wall Street Journal, was part of this one called Deep Effing Value. And that chat room focused on value stocks. In the world of stocks that we have, value stocks are those that were put on sale, typically because everything went down, and they went down with it. But the market, but if you look at them, you look at it and say, well, that one went down too much, or everything went down, but that should have been going up. So when the market rebounds, it's going to bounce. Most of the value stocks that we deal with in 401ks and retirement planning are value, which means that in the example of the BP oil spill, where all the oil stocks went down, most of the funds that we talk about are going to buy Shell after the BP oil spill. So everything went down. Shell and BP went down, but because it was an overreaction where everything went down, even though Shell didn't do anything, when the public looks at that and says, well, you know what, actually oil stocks are good and I want them back in my portfolio, they're going to look and say, ooh, look at Shell. They didn't do anything wrong. And so Shell will go, where BP will languish for a while and go, if nothing untoward happens to BP, like a liquidation or whatever. Deep value is buying BP after the BP oil spill. You know it's at a serious down, and you know that it's going to you believe it's going to rise, but you're willing to take some heat and wait. So what happened here was that there were some large institutions that shorted GameStop. And what that meant was that they thought that this stock was going to go down even further. Now, GameStop in and of itself it's a retailer for games, and it was a place where in the heyday of handheld gaming, people would go to buy and sell new and used games.
Right. I've been there, but now it's like everything's digital. So why is that something that people are still going to go to?
Exactly. And more to the point, with all the retailers that are down, why would that be one that would rebound? So BP, there it is again. So GameStop has languished since in November of 2013. It rallied, meaning it went up to around $5.80 a share, and since then it's been a steady, slow decline with a little peaks and valley along the way. But this guy Keith Gill has been buying it recently. Over the last, I think he said over the last 9-10 months, he's been buying it, and it entered the year at $18.84. Entered the year, I will remind you, meaning we're at January 31st. January 1st of this year, 30 days ago, it was $18.84. So he got into this room and he said, hey, all these hedge funds own this. They own it on the short side. We can rise up. Come on, people. Let's get together. We, individual investors, actually, no, individual traders, they fancy themselves traders, can get in and we can topple these hedge funds because they're bad and we're good. And he was successful in ramping this up and getting people to buy it. Now,
it shows you almost the power of social media and how it could be even more powerful than these hedge funds that can buy so much, because all these people who are sitting at home who are getting into the game themselves are able to kind of shift the market.
Correct. And this is actually the hedge fund version of what happened on January 6th in the Capitol. So,
yes, in a way. Well, when we come back from the break, we're going to talk more about that, some of the other players that are involved in this. So Robinhood, and which is a brokerage, and other tradings, and a little bit more about Keith Gill. But this is really interesting. Stick around and we'll be right back.
Looking for safe and nurturing daycare or preschool for your child? Well, JCC Chicago is here for you. Introducing JCC Chicago Early Childhood's newest location at Beth Emmet Synagogue in Evanston for children 6 weeks to 5 years old. Contact Director Nicole Correa at jccchicago.org/tour for a virtual tour. Our nurturing educators and social services team create safe spaces for kids to develop social and emotional skills, including teamwork, independence, and empathy through classmate interaction. Our year-round outdoor classrooms provide abundant space to discover and nurture a lifelong love of learning. Full and half-day programs help children grow and flourish in their new classroom community. Schedule a virtual tour at jccchicago.org/tour to see why parents say they quickly notice the magic that happened day in and day out. And ask about the Hebrew Immersion Program. All the info's at jccchicago.org/tour. That's jccchicago.org/tour. Mortgage rates have reached record lows recently. If you see homeownership in your future, the future is now. Think of Beth Lewis at Cross Country Mortgage as your personal mortgage shopper. She'll sort through racks and racks of home financing options until she finds exactly the right style and fit for you. She'll get you pre-approved to give you an advantage over other buyers, and she'll close your loan quickly with a highly efficient process driven by advanced mortgage technology. So far in 2020, Beth has come through for over 680 individuals and families who needed home financing. Beth will be here for you too, because helping people get mortgages is what she does best. Visit BethLewisTeam.com to get started. That's BethLewisTeam.com, or call 847-274-9745. That's 847-274-9745. Cross Country Mortgage LLC, NMLS 3029, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing opportunity, Illinois residential mortgage licensee. Recognized as the third largest Holocaust museum in the world, Illinois Holocaust Museum inspires people of all ages to take a stand against anti-Semitism, hatred, prejudice, and indifference. An award-winning and world-class attraction, the museum has a fantastic slate of engaging virtual programs, including discussions on social justice topics, film screenings with talkbacks, lunch and learn sessions with scholars, authors, and experts, and more. There's truly something for everyone. Tickets for virtual public tours of the blockbuster exhibit Notorious RBG, The Life and Times of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, are available now through February 20th. And speaking of inspiring pop culture icons, on January 21st, you and your friends have the opportunity to test your pop culture knowledge during the virtual event Take a Stand Trivia, hosted by the museum's Young Professional Committee. Thanks to Let Us Entertain You, this event can be transformed into a dinner party with food and cocktail kits available for curbside pickup in the city and suburbs. Visit ilholocaustmuseum.org for more information. Relationships are at the base of just about everything in life. If those relationships thrive, so does your life and your business. Prue's Coach Leader Academy helps individuals to entire companies learn a coach approach to support positive relationship. PCLA's forms and equips individuals and companies with a skill set to support others' growth and development. PCLA. We coach, we train, we mentor. Get started today at Prue'sCoachLeader.com. That's PREUSS CoachLeader.com. Moving day is a happy day, but how can you be sure all of your stuff will get to the new place in the same condition they left the old place? Upgrade your experience to First Class Moving and Storage. You'll get a team of professionals who treat all of your belongings with care and have the right tools to make the job go smoothly. They even offer a full packing service. Upgrade to First Class Moving and Storage. They're local and independently owned. For more info, visit the website at firstclassmovers.com. That's the number one, stclassmovers.com.
It's JT and Leanne. Join us for Heart and Home with Exit Realty.
Local listings, market conditions, and opportunity.
Sunday afternoons at 4 on Chicago Smart Talk.
Welcome back. Well, sorry, everybody. This is Aaron here from Inside the Skev, and we are here with Jeff Shankerman. And Jeff is a financial planner, and we've been talking about what's been going on in the market. So it has been a crazy, crazy week, and we started getting into a little bit about the players involved here, and how you left us where what basically has happened is it was the Capitol insurrection. But for the stock market. So
that's exactly right.
Explain that. What does that mean?
So this was a guy who knew what he was doing, who got on this chat room, and what he did was he used the kind of rhetoric or the kind of concept that would have gotten people to get in their vehicles and drive to DC and storm the Capitol building. He used that same type of us against them rhetoric to get them to invest in this particular stock, which is interesting because he owned a bunch of it, which it's part of the hanky part of the idea of him doing this. So the players that we talked about short selling, and the fact that these hedge funds, which are institutions that deal with more sophisticated investors and institutions, have they will either sell long or short, which means that they'll bet on stocks going up or down, and many of them publish what their lists are. So there were lists of the short interest, meaning how much short they had in particular stocks, and it's not just GameStop. There are actually now 50 stocks that are being limited by some brokers, including Robinhood, which is a brokerage that was key to all of this. So these folks were whipped up into a frenzy, but a frenzy that works. If there's a significant number of short sellers in something like a GameStop, which is a diseased animal at the side of the road, and these buzzards are just circling and circling and circling, there's very little thought being put into it. You're waiting. If you have it at $5 a share, you're waiting for them to go out of business, or you're waiting for them to break apart and sell off one division or sell off another division and have that kill the stock. But what you're not wanting to happen is that $5 stock shooting up to a high of $413.98, which is what happened over about a 1 week period over the last week. And it's all fervor. There's nothing behind it. There was no news driving it. There was nothing, no situation that made that stock even worth more than the $18.84 that it was beforehand. So it was only driven by this information and this tactic of toppling these hedge funds. One of the hedge funds had to borrow $3 billion with a B in order to get out of their position at $90 a share. I believe that's what they paid to get out of this, out of the stock in order to cover that short position. So you've got this guy on this channel who is espousing the this radical let's go out and get them kind of an attitude. And then you've got Robinhood, which is the darling of this chat room and the darling of these folks. Robinhood is an online brokerage that its very heartwarming and altruistic goal is to bring trading to the masses by removing barriers such as commissions, so you can trade commission free out of the goodness of their hearts. And
how do they make money?
They make money by selling your order to another institution to fill it. So there's an institution that's faster than you are, and they fill them right and left. So imagine this. Imagine that you've got a stock that you see on your screen is trading at $10 a share, and you want to buy it. So you want to buy it, you're willing to buy it at $10 a share. But in reality, because their information is faster than yours, it's actually pulled back to $9.50 a share.
Mm-hmm.
So they fill you at 10. They may actually fill you at $9.95 and improve your price. And that's great because you bought it for less than you expected to buy it for, except that it's a rigged game. They know how much it is going in, and they will sell, and that's how they make their money. They pay the brokerage firm. They make the Robinhood made what was it? They made half of their operating expenses through doing this, and it was in the billions of dollars. And it's not necessarily bad, but it's not bad from an execution standpoint, but it is bad when you really think about the fact that you're dealing with the market, and there are professionals, and there are things going on. This is not a horse race. So Robinhood, first, last, and foremost, has always treated it like gambling. Their site looks like a gambling site, and it acts like a gambling site. And their whole thing is, take a few bucks and throw it into the market. You won't pay any commissions. How great is that? So they were pounded. They opened up 500,000 accounts last week, and they were pounded. Now, they have a background also during the market downfall during February, March. Their servers went offline, or something went offline that prevented anybody who had an account from getting in or out of the market when the market was in free fall, going down 35%. And then after that, they had a number of accounts, a substantial number of accounts that were hacked and drained. And there was nobody on the other end of the phone line to actually address it.
So maybe not the best bet to put your money in?
If you want, no. And this goes with what I said before. Recommendations, I'm not making a recommendation. This is what it is. If you're not paying for it, then you are the product. And when you're talking about your money, you don't want that to be the case. You want to have total control. And for God's sakes, you're talking about execution prices at some of the other more established brokers that are $5, $6, $7 a side, to get in or get out. Okay, sure, it's cheaper to do it for no money, but at $5, $6, $7 a side, if you can get in or get out when you need to, that's very valuable.
Yeah, that's worth a lot more than $5 or $6.
So you get this perfect storm.
So we'll talk more about it and whether or not it's right or wrong, the ethics of it and how it affects the overall general economy and what you think might happen. So stick around. We'll be right back.
safe and nurturing daycare or preschool for your child? Well, JCC Chicago is here for you. Introducing JCC Chicago Early Childhood's newest location at Beth Emmet Synagogue in Evanston for children 6 weeks to 5 years old. Contact Director Nicole Correa at jccchicago.org/tour for a virtual tour. Our nurturing educators and social services team create safe spaces for kids to develop social and emotional skills, including teamwork, independence, and empathy through classmate interaction. Our year-round outdoor classrooms provide abundant space to discover and nurture a lifelong love of learning. Full and half-day programs help children grow and flourish in their new classroom community. Schedule a virtual tour at jccchicago.org/tour to see why parents say they quickly notice the magic that happened day in and day out. And ask about the Hebrew Immersion Program. All the info's at jccchicago.org/tour. That's jccchicago.org/tour. Recognized as the third largest Holocaust museum in the world, Illinois Holocaust Museum inspires people of all ages to take a stand against anti-Semitism, hatred, prejudice, and indifference. An award-winning and world-class attraction, the museum has a fantastic slate of engaging virtual programs, including discussions on social justice topics, film screenings with talkbacks, lunch and learn sessions with scholars, authors, and experts, and more. There's truly something for everyone. Tickets for virtual public tours of the blockbuster exhibit Notorious RBG, The Life and Times of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, are available now through February 20th. And speaking of inspiring pop culture icons, on January 21st, you and your friends have the opportunity to test your pop culture knowledge during the virtual event Take a Stand Trivia, hosted by the museum's Young Professional Committee. Thanks to Let Us Entertain You, this event can be transformed into a dinner party with food and cocktail kits available for curbside pickup in the city and suburbs. Visit ilholocaustmuseum.org for more information.
Reading, writing, and math are a struggle for a lot of young students. At BrainLinks, we know those skills are what paves the way to independence and success. Our specialists will help your child develop the habits they need to make sure they strive, not only in class, but out in the world in general. And of course, for everyone's safety, our lessons are done completely online. For more info on our team members and to schedule your initial consultation, visit brainlinksacademics.com. That's brainlinksacademics.com.
Relationships are at the base of just about everything in life. If those relationships thrive, so does your life and your business. Proust Coach Leader Academy helps individuals to entire companies learn a coach approach to support positive relationship. PCLA's ICF accredited coach training program transforms and equips individuals and companies with a skill set to support others' growth and development. PCLA. We coach, we train, we mentor. Get started today at ProustCoachLeader.com. That's PREUSS Coachleader.com.
Hi, I'm Aaron Masliansky, longtime Skokie and Evanston resident, host of Inside the Skev, and local real estate expert. As a community connector and realtor with Dreamtown Realty in downtown Evanston, I know firsthand what makes the Skev such an amazing place to live. When I'm helping my clients buy and sell properties inside of the Skev or out, I'm doing it with the best technology and support team behind me at Dreamtown. During the pandemic, I've been able to help my clients seamlessly stay on track with their home search. From immersive 3D Matterport tours, professional photos, to virtual open houses, my clients can find their homes safely and comfortably, and even from their couch. When you're ready to make a move, know that I'll be here to help. You can always find out more about me at skevanston.com/real estate. Again, that's skevanston.com/real estate, or email me at aaron@skevanston.com.
Hey folks, it's Elizabeth Alfano, host of Plant-Based Life and Style. Tune in every Sunday right here on WCGO.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Inside the Skev, and I'm here with Jeff Shankerman, financial planner, and we've been talking about the interesting market that's been taking place in the past week here, stock market, I should say. And we're talking about what actually happened. And one thing I want to know is, is this a good thing? Is it wrong? I mean, what should we be doing here? Should it be more regulated?
I think that it's going to become more regulated. I mean, this was a hole. And I've been around long enough to see holes like this occur before. and people take advantage of them. And then the regulators change the rules in order to keep this from continually happening. The questions of right and wrong and whether it's smart, those are really fascinating questions in this situation. So let's pick it apart. You've got a short squeeze that went on, which is that act of running up the stock so that the holders of it who are short, who are betting on it going down, have to sell at a loss to cover it. Is that right or wrong? It just is. It's part of the deal. When you have when you take a short position, you have to understand that sometimes they're going to go against you. So, I don't think that it was right. There's no right or wrong answer with that from an ethical standpoint. Now, Keith Gill, him being the one, his role in pumping this up, in my opinion, that I've got some issues with.
Why?
Well, he's registered. He's a registered guy. He has a lot of the same registrations that I do. He is a registered representative. He is a registered principal, which means he's able to run an office for a brokerage firm theoretically, although I don't think that that's going to be in the cards anytime soon with him.
No.
And his background, his background is a rabbit hole in and of itself. But here's the takeaway for this. I gave you my background at the top of the show. I have well over 2 decades in this industry, and I've been a registered guy for a long time, and I've taken on these responsibilities of advising people. If tomorrow I gave that all up and I went online and I started pumping stocks, I will always be that guy who was the registered guy who started the trading firm and worked in that industry. So my background is what it is, whether I'm a part of that or not. As a registered guy with his background and with the registrations that he has and the history that he has, he knows darn well what he's doing when he gets up there and he speaks about this stuff. If you, Aaron Masliansky, with your background in real estate, wanted to go on in this chat room that's about deep value stocks and shout from the rooftops, hey, I think that this is a great buy. This ABC stock is a great buy, or it's a great one to let's go pummel those shorts. People are going to look at that and go, he's just a real estate guy. Or,
right.
I listen to him with real estate, but this is kind of him he's just another person in here. But Keith Gill, that's not the case. He's a voice that has some backing to it that has been actually certified in a way by the SEC, by FINRA, by the organizations that back this up. So, and also he owned the freaking stock, and he owned it, and he owned a lot of it, and he owned it for a while, and he had been the mouthpiece for the short for a while as it gained prominence, and he did it under a pseudonym. All of the things that I just mentioned are things that I can't do, having the same exact relationship with the same brokerage firm, I clear through the same firm he does. I can't do any of those things. I can't have an outside account that would have a position like this in it. I can't have a pseudonym and speak with the public, and I can't pump a stock, especially one that I own, on the internet. So right. That's one thing. Was Robinhood right to limit trading on this issue? You get in, you can't get out. You can't get in when there are hot issues. Well, I don't have a problem with that. Look, if you bought a car and that car was available as a convertible and as a hardtop, and you bought the hardtop and you're driving around on a sunny day, you can't blame that car for not allowing you to take the top down because you bought the hardtop and not the convertible. And if you go to a brokerage that is ostensibly a gambling site that's offering free trading to the masses, expect that there are going to be some ramifications when something like this goes awry, because they have relationships up the food chain to their clearing firms to make sure that they have enough capital on hand to cover these trades that their I won't say that their customers are doing, and to make sure that if it all blows up, they as a firm can cover everybody else's trades.
So that's really what it's about. It's about whether or not they have enough capital to cover the trades.
That's one thing. And also it's the tactic of come on in. It's easy. It's quick. Like I said, I ran a trading firm for 6 years. And what I came away from that understanding deeply is that you need to respect the market. And there are two ways of getting respect, of creating that respect for the market. One is to lose enough money and throw money at the market and lose it and lose it and lose it. Unless you're a total moron and incapable of learning from what just happened, you're going to eventually get the respect for the market where you go, wow, okay, this isn't such it's not a slam dunk. It's not easy because there are lots of other moving parts I can't see. The other way is to educate yourself and be a market participant and to make a concerted effort to learn from your mistakes and to go in methodically so that you can learn how the market in your particular area works and do it that way. If you want to trade, these are a bunch of investor trader wannabes. And the fact that Robinhood makes it look like you're a trader now, and it's just this easy. And here's a bunch of information that looks just like and acts just like the handicap on a particular horse in a particular race, or the spread on a particular game that you would bet on another website. That makes it all the worse. So is it wrong that they limited the trades? They had to. What's moronic is for these people to expect a free trading site to be able to offer them just carte blanche to do whatever they do, especially in a situation like this.
Right. Yeah, because basically it's been a lot of people who are working from home, have some time on their hands, have some money, and just said, yeah, let's just listen to this and do it. So you said if you want to really be a trader, you have to really understand the market that you're investing in. Mm-hmm. So, let's say my son's been asking me about stock trading and he's 10. So okay. What do you advise somebody to do to really learn how to do it right and to understand what they're going into?
So I get this question a lot. And my suggestion is always that what I always offer is, talk to your son or have your son, I'll sit down with him and talk to him about what he likes to do, the things that he enjoys in life, and the things that what does he watch? What does he do? Joey's into sports. So that kind of thing, yeah. Like what would you, if you were interested in learning more about something and you already know something about it, what would that be? Would it be Disney stock? Would it be, something that would be sports related? And then teach him how to follow it and what it means. And, look, he's 10. So it's not deep dive following like these guys and keep him away from Reddit. That would be another thing. But, have him buy a few shares and then follow it and track it. And this is a legit warning. Be sure you want to do it, because when you take something, the smartest thing to do is to start with something you understand and or something you love. But man, I'll tell you, if you are just if you love Disney and you love Disney World and you love the cartoons and everything like that, and you buy Disney stock, you could end up hating Disney, or it could change how you perceive it. So to get into it, that would be a great way to do it. Or to buy a mutual fund, find a mutual fund that covers that particular area and follow that.
So if you're a minor, can you actually buy stock, or do you have to buy it with the parent?
You can set up an account that the parent would be the main person who owns it, and the kid would be for benefit of Joey.
And that's something that you could set up too for people.
Yes, it is. It is. It's not something that look, the truth is, part of the deal of being a financial planner is that you do what's in the best interest of your clients. And when I have this question, I usually tell them, just open up an account somewhere, and I don't advise where, but open up, because onesie-twosie stock shares, it's in their best interest to do that elsewhere, but I'll help them to understand it.
Sure.
So that's what we do. And look, a lot of this stuff, you're going to look at this situation and you're going to say, but what if this happens again? It will happen. It'll happen until the rules are changed or whatever. So, but there is an element of what will change and how short-term and long-term that'll be a negative for you and me and all these people. Well, assuming these people have 401ks, there's a certain amount of transparency, not a lot of transparency in the institutional investing world. Funds like these hedge funds, and other institutions that are handling the money for your 401k, for example, they rely on the some open exchange of information to understand the directions they should take. Things like the list of long and short positions that hedge funds have. But it's not a given that the hedge funds are going to publish this or make it public. They certainly won't now. This is a situation where, and this is again like the situation with the Capitol, where the people involved in the hedge funds were having their families threatened by these people, which is why I'm calling them knuckleheads.
Yeah, no, it is a scary situation, certainly on many different ends of what's going on. But stick around. We'll talk a little bit more about what's happened this past week, how people can get a hold of you, and we will be right back.
Looking for safe and nurturing daycare or preschool for your child? Well, JCC Chicago is here for you. Introducing JCC Chicago Early Childhood's newest location at Beth Emmet Synagogue in Evanston for children 6 weeks to 5 years old. Contact Director Nicole Correa at jccchicago.org/tour for a virtual tour. Our nurturing educators and social services team creates safe spaces for kids to develop social and emotional skills, including teamwork, independence, and empathy through classmate interaction. Our year-round outdoor classrooms provide abundant space to discover and nurture a lifelong love of learning. Full and half-day programs help children grow and flourish in their new classroom community. Schedule a virtual tour at jccchicago.org/tour to see why parents say they quickly notice the magic that happened day in and day out. And ask about the Hebrew Immersion Program. All the info's at jccchicago.org/tour. That's jccchicago.org/tour. Relationships are at the base of just about everything in life. If those relationships thrive, so does your life and your business. Prue's Coach Leader Academy helps individuals to entire companies learn a coach approach to support positive relationship. PCLA's ICF-accredited coach training program transforms and equips individuals and companies with a skill set to support others' growth and development. PCLA. We coach, we train, we mentor. Get started today at Prue'sCoachLeader.com. That's PREUSS Coachleader.com. Moving day is a happy day, but how can you be sure all of your stuff will get to the new place in the same condition they left the old place? Upgrade your experience to first-class moving and storage. You'll get a team of professionals who treat all of your belongings with care and have the right tools to make the job go smoothly. They even offer a full packing service. Upgrade to first-class moving and storage. They're local and independently owned. For more info, visit the website at firstclassmovers.com. That's the number 1, stclassmovers.com.
Hi, I'm Aaron Masliansky, longtime Skokie and Evanston resident, host of Inside the Skev, and local real estate expert. As a community connector and realtor with Dreamtown Realty in downtown Evanston, I know firsthand what makes the Skev such an amazing place to live. When I'm helping my clients buy and sell properties inside of the Skev or out, I'm doing it with the best technology and support team behind me at Dreamtown. During the pandemic, I've been able to help my clients seamlessly stay on track with their home search. From immersive 3D Matterport tours, professional photos, to virtual open houses, my clients can find their homes safely and comfortably, and even from their couch. When you're ready to make a move, know that I'll be here to help. You can always find out more about me at Skevanston.com/real estate. Again, that's Skevanston.com/real estate, or email me at aaron@Skevanston.com.
Mortgage rates have reached record lows recently. If you see homeownership in your future, the future is now. Think of Beth Lewis at Cross Country Mortgage as your personal mortgage shopper. She'll sort through racks and racks of home financing options until she finds exactly the right style and fit for you. She'll get you pre-approved to give you an advantage over other buyers, and she'll close your loan quickly with a highly efficient process driven by advanced mortgage technology. So far in 2020, Beth has come through for over 680 individuals and families who needed home financing. Beth will be here for you too, because helping people get mortgages is what she does best. Visit BethLewisTeam.com to get started. That's BethLewisteam.com. Or call 847-274-9745. That's 847-274-9745. Cross Country Mortgage LLC, NMLS 3029, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org, Equal Housing Opportunity, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
This is psychic and medical intuitive Julie Ryan, host of the Ask Julie Ryan Show, heard Thursday nights from 7 to 9 Central on Chicago's Smart Talk, WCGO.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Inside the Skev here with Jeff Shankerman today, talking about the market. And we were just listening to some of the commercials here. And there's a show that somebody talks about psychic readings. And I was saying to Jeff, I think we need a psychic reading just to figure out what's next.
Well, I'm a big fan of the Magic 8 Ball. Big fan of the Magic 8 Ball.
That's how we predict things now.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So to sum up what we were talking about, the result of this, there have to be some changes to keep something like this from happening again, and that's what the SEC and FINRA and other organizations that regulate the industry will do. They'll put some rules in place that'll stop this from happening. Is it a good thing when something like this happens? It's neither here nor there. What I was talking about before the break was that the firms that have these short positions and have just gotten whacked are going to stop communicating. So there will be less information for the mutual funds that we all have in our 401ks to go off of in order to make their decisions as a result of this kind of a thing. There's never, it's funny, I was thinking about this when I was doing the trading stuff. One of the things that kept something like this from happening was that everybody else felt like every trader felt like every other trader was an idiot, and that they didn't know what they were doing, and that every other firm was awful and they didn't know what they were doing. So they would never band together like this. If they ever did, this could have happened 20 years ago. But then again, there's an understanding within the industry that there's a certain amount of leeway and profit that needs to be made by everybody in order for everything to work. So the moral of the story is, don't do this kind of stuff. If you're interested in, so there are two sides of the coin. When I was talking about respect for the market, that's really the trading end of things. And if you're interested in trading, okay, that's awesome. Trading is great. It's a lot of fun, but again, not a recommendation. But do it in the right way. I have a lot of my clients who trade in addition to what they do with me, and they use me as kind of a mentor in that activity, and that's fine. It's separate from the investing that they are doing. And investing, the difference between trading and investing in a nutshell is that when you trade, you know when you're going to get in and when you're going to get out, and when you invest, you're doing it for the long run, and that's the objective. So don't confuse the two. This whole thing was a perfect storm anomaly. I want to mention one other thing. If Keith Gill is determined, he has like $30 million, I think I read, in this stock. And if he sells it, he hasn't sold it. And the reason that I think he hasn't sold it is because if it's found that he manipulated if this is manipulation, which it's a gray area, because we have a right to make stupid decisions in this country. It's a legal right. So if he gets up there and he says GameStop has found a cure for cancer, then that's manipulation and that's fraud, because he said something that isn't true. But if he does what he does and says, hey, if we all get together and drive up the price, we can do this, we can topple this hedge fund, that's actually true. But is he exerting undue influence? If he is, and if he sold that $30 million and banked it, then not only might he would definitely lose the $30 million if he's found to be liable, but he's also liable for up to what are called treble damages, which is 3 times whatever the damage is.
Oh God.
Yep. So look, will they say if it was individuals, that's one thing, but it's hedge funds. So I'm not sure that would actually happen. But this guy he's got some. It's not the last time we're going to hear about him.
No. Well, I'd want to ask you, but you probably can't opine on this. But do you think GameStop is going to go back down? Because really,
it has to, because the fundamentals.
Or AMC, all these companies.
Again, AMC. AMC may actually, if there's if they open up all the theaters and people throng back to, there's something there. There's really not a lot with GameStop that's not a rosy picture. They've had 5 CEOs in the last year. And talk about musical chairs. The guy who's CEO right now has like $1.3 billion in net worth because of all this, only because he happened to be the CEO when it happened. Good for him.
He got lucky. Yeah.
Yes. So the moral of the story is, pick the person who you're taking information from. Understand the difference between trading and investing. Know that if you're not paying for it, if it's a service that you're not paying for, then you are the product. And pick somebody and listen to them, and make sure they reflect what your viewpoints are.
So Jeff, we used to have a couple minutes left. How do people get a hold of you so they could invest and work with you?
Well, they should go to your website just to check it out. They can go to me. They can go that. Well, my last name's really long. Go to Aaron's website. My information is there, and I'm happy to speak with anybody who wants to kind of understand this situation more, or preferably if you really have been looking for somebody who will speak your language and actually do what's in your best interest, as opposed to my good buddy Keith Gill.
Yeah. So just so everyone knows, if you go to Skevanston.com, I will have this up on the website there probably Tuesday, and it'll have a link to Jeff's website. And the episode 6 of Inside the Skev was where we really dove into your background and why you're in this industry and a lot more. But you're, based in Skokie. The company is a family business. It's in Indianapolis. So you really care about your clients. I could speak to that. And I think that is where people should really go, because look, you can go and trade, you can go and do that. It's fine. Some people have made a lot of money. But I think the smart thing to do is really understand what you're doing and work with the professional.
I look, whether it's me or somebody else, but it shouldn't be somebody else. I totally agree with you. And in this day where information is so plentiful, people think they can go it on their own. And, you get a little bit of success, but really it's about the long term. It's about the ability to keep the money. Quick story. I have a client who had some money that he had with a different brokerage, and we've been talking about bringing it over. And I looked at everything he has, which is a lot of mutual funds. And there were 5 different stocks that he held. And Thursday night, as I'm about to go to sleep, I thought, is GameStop one of those stocks, or am I imagining it? Woke up the next morning, and we were supposed to meet on Friday, and looked at his holdings, and sure enough, he had 20 shares of GameStop. So I called him and I said, hey, you have any idea where GameStop is trading right now? And he said, I don't know, $1 or $2. At current, it's trading at $340. We're getting off the phone right now. You need to get on and sell it immediately. Actually, it was $320, and by the time he sold it, it was $340.
Wow. So he had a good day.
He had a good day, and that's the rare exception where I will say that's somebody who definitely benefited from this and didn't. He didn't. Yeah. He bought it years ago.
We appreciate you coming on, talking about this. Everyone stick around for the Hannah and Fred show. They're having Jared Payton on, Walter Payton's son. And if you want to learn more, go to Skevanston.com. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening. Have a great week, and stay tuned for more in this crazy market.
Thanks again.
You're welcome.
AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.